We're live.
All right, we are live, and the New York Mets are back to winning series again. All the fucking people who were freaking out about a team 18 games over 500 yesterday have officially got to chill. KFC has the Coors Lights in your face. Show him the Blue Mountains, Kev. He's lifting. He's showing off a little bit of swollenness right there. The Blue Mountains, cold as the Rockies. That's what the New York Metropolitans are, cold as the Rockies. And that's presenting this podcast today. As always, the beer that's made to chill, the beer of everything unofficial, the beer of the 2022 World Championship Parade going down the Canyon of Heroes on November 2nd. Cake, punch, and Coors Light will be served. When you have to make the most of your summer right now, we got the 4th of July. Everyone's gathered around their barbecues, responsibly drinking their Coors Lights. Think of moments like this. Think of watching games like yesterday when Escobar season returns. It's a cookie day, a good cookie day. These are the moments you have to have a nice Coors Light in your hand. And not only that, Coors Light is hooking you up with the beautiful golden refreshment going down your throat to ease your soul during Mets games. And they are also...
Can I get an amen from this man right here? The man is spitting. He is preaching right now.
Make the most of your summer with a chance to win exclusive chill merch, fun local experiences, and even a trip to New York, Chicago, or Los Angeles. Enter to win at CoorsLight.com/believe. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends August 15, 2022. Game ends September 6, 2022. All 50 U.S. states, Washington, D.C. 21 or older only. Void where prohibited. Rules. Visit CoorsLightSummer.com. And as always, celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Boys, I just watched the Sandlot 4th of July scene, so I'm feeling good right now. I'm feeling good. We got baseball. We got wins.
Oh, that scene is so criminally underrated. As you know, we always play like President Whitmore from Independence Day, and there's all these other American things. First of all, patently ridiculous that there would be a continuous string of fireworks that would light up the sky for you to play a baseball game. But whatever, it's movie magic. That's one of the more underrated American scenes, and I think people are catching on to that this year. It seems like it's going all over Twitter. It is it's American as fuck when they watch
it's just
that
like
ball
the lead up to it
night.
too. They're at the block party. He's scarfing down the desserts as he's running to the ball field. It's perfect.
It's the best, man. By the way, Clem, I can't wait. I've decided that there will be one of those cakes that looks like cans at the parade.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about? Those things like, is it cake? Did I lose you?
Yes.
So like we're gonna have at the parade, we'll have cans lined up, and you'll either grab it and it'll be a Coors Light, or you'll grab it and it'll be a fucking cake. And either way, you win, and we will be world champions of the world.
All right, to the Coors Guide people listening, you have to help us out and get this.
Get on that.
Imagine you just grab it and you're like, either I'm grabbing a Coors Light or I'm just grabbing cake. And you're just like basically a wedding cake, and you're just shoving it in your face. If you thought the 1986 World Series plane was an absolute disaster after that Game 6 in Houston, wait till you see a bunch of starved Mets fans who have never seen a World Series in their life responsibly celebrating, but celebrating nonetheless a World Series championship. And I guess World Series back on. I had people telling me
season's back on. Season's back on, guys.
For the 30th time of the year, the New York Mets have saved their season. Now that they are 19 games above 500, and people tell me, is it time to panic, Clem? And this is what I just want to say to everyone out there. I just want to say this. And listen, I'm not here to tell people how to be a fan, even though we always you are. You most certainly are. And I know other people are like that. I try not to do it. Let me just tell this to anybody. And this is including the people on this podcast, the people in our group chat, and the people that I just associate with as Mets fans. Scoreboard watching the 2022 New York Yankees and Atlanta Braves is bad for your health. Mm-hmm. It may cause death. It may cause drama. It may cause acting like a fucking lunatic. Just don't do it anymore. I don't know what else you got, because those people that are then scoreboard watching the 22 Mets are probably going the same amount of bonkers that we are, but we just don't hear it because we're not in their group text. We're not in their Twitter communities, all that kind of stuff.
That is the great question. And I want someone with more time and interest on their hands to do it. I want to know, because I thought I would have bet that Mets Twitter is the craziest place on earth. And I still bet if you were to really break it down, number of people, amount of tweets, all that shit, I would bet we are probably the largest and craziest presence. But I do think I'm starting to see that this is like it's just social media. It's not the Mets. It's the forum that we're on. Because it's madness. It's madness. It's fucking June, well, July now, but like we're talking about the first half of this season. It's like, if this were the NBA, would you be going crazy for game, 40 of the season? Would you be freaking out about week 3 of the NFL? I mean, I don't know. It's something that I think like scientists and doctors need to study, because it is so. I want to have a talk. I need a Frank the Tank that's not an actual insane person, that I can sit down and be like, explain to me what's going through your head when you think that the season's over because we lost a game, even though we, just won a series, or just won 3 series, or we've won 18 series and we've only lost fucking 4 and we're 25 games of 500. Like, tell me what's actually going on in your brain, because I refuse to believe that anybody who's even slightly competent would act like that. It's so patently insane. I feel like you either have to be a child or like Frank, like an actual crazy person, because and even people are like, what are you going to say if the Braves catch us? Like, if they catch us in June,
right,
I'm going to say, like, I hope they don't catch us on September 30th. That's what I'm going to fucking say. It's insanity, man. And when I send a tweet being like, look, here's all the games we've won, here are the only series we've lost, and it just happens to coincide with the Braves going 21-5. How is that with games that we didn't play against them at all? How does that have anything to do with us? Like, what is your genuine answer to that? How can you say we're collapsing when it is no fault of our own that another team is beating other teams? It's like, I just want an actual answer from it, other than like, I'm an asshole on the internet, because that's all you fucking are.
We're still on pace to win over 100+ games, by the way, and you're calling us a collapse. Like, it doesn't make sense.
It's fucking, and I know Clem is amazing. Clem, the 2 guys I'm closest with at this company, Clem and Feidelberg, are the 2 guys that just like, they can just genuinely be like, I don't care. And Clem goes off with his kids, and Feidelberg goes off and eats ice cream, and they just don't care. And I don't have it in me when I see massive amounts of people displaying incomprehensible amounts of stupidity. I have to argue with you. I have to call you out, and I have to challenge you to give me some sort of rational answer. So if there's any Mets hater out there, with Yankee fans chirping me, that can genuinely describe what they think is the problem here, other than what we already know. We already know we need another relief arm. We already know we need these pitchers to come back healthy. We already know that we need a righty bat, some things here and there. Of course, not perfect. Like, what goes through your fucking mind when you say the season's going to end and the next day we take 2 out of 3 again? Is it that it has to be a sweep? Is that where we're at? We have to win 14 in a row like the Braves did? You have to sweep everybody?
No, we have to win 120 games to be the greatest team ever in order to demand respect. That's
even
what
last week I said to Frank, like, what you're only comfortable every time there's a 10-game lead in the division. Like, that's not how baseball works.
Yeah, then get the fuck out of here. Then you are not cut out to be a baseball fan. That's the other thing is, like, I used to argue with back in the dark ages when there were Mets fans who were all sunshine and rainbows. I used to question them and be like, you haven't been around for a long time, because if you've been around the Wilpons long enough, you know how this shit ends. Well, now I'm looking around. I'm like, who knows? Maybe I'm arguing with like a 13-year-old who's never watched a full season of baseball. Because if you've ever watched 162, you know that there's going to be big leads and small leads and blown leads. And at least if you have a competitive division, which we do, back and forth and winning streaks and losing streaks. Like, this is how it goes. And that's why I still believe it's like the American, we worry about the records and the hallowed ground and Hall of Fame and all that shit, because the season is fucking insane. So have you just not been around for it? I don't know what it is, but I'm happy to, whereas Clem is happy to just not engage and go about his life and just wait for the parade. I'm happy to jam it down your throat until you can't breathe anymore, and I strangle you to death with the success of the New York Mets.
And that is fine too. Everyone, as I
Two sides of the coin.
I am at the point where I'm no longer going to tell people how to watch baseball, how to enjoy their team. Just keep that shit out of my mentions. I'm going to say what I say. You want to reply to me, then we engage in a conversation. And this is just a social media thing. Some people listen to this podcast, don't get into social media. God bless you guys. This place fucking sucks. It's the worst, and that's why we always talk about it every episode. However, Kevin, at the end of the last episode, you weren't on, but we had a special guest on to replace you at the end, Frank the Tank. We made our bet. So Frank said the Mets were not going to win a series the rest of July, and they were going to go, I believe, 3-7 or 2-8 against the Rangers, Marlins, and Reds. The Mets won the first series since he said that. So Frank was wrong for the 1 millionth time this season. Our bet was if the Mets finish above 500 during this 10-game stretch, Rangers, Reds, Marlins, he will not be able to tweet anything negative about the Mets for the rest of July. If they go under 500, I have to drink nothing but water. I cannot drink my delicious Coors Lights the rest of July. That was our way of going. I was trying to get him to get off of soda. He's like, Clem, I can't do it. It's a professional thing. I try to get him off of hot dogs and soda. I realized that's, his brand. The man puts out his blogs every single day at 4:20 p.m., no matter what. So just for everyone to keep in track at home, it's Aqua Clem versus Frank the Crank, basically. That's kind of what's going on here. And Frank the Crank's down right now.
Let me just say this, too, about Frank. I know some people are like, why you even engage? Obviously, it's a shtick. It's a shtick when Frank says, like, we're going to go 2 and 160. What's not a shtick is that he actually does believe that we're going to, that we're a bad team and that we're going to play bad. So, I don't – there are certain trolls that I don't want to feed the beast, but Frank is one who's at our company. He's a voice in the community for some goddamn reason. And we love him nonetheless. So, it's going to be part of our show and part of the program. And he, Clem, start mixing up the Kool-Aid and cracking out the beers because it's the easiest bet you're ever going to fucking win.
I almost had him on the retirement bet last year.
The retirement bet's the one I want. That's what I want. And because I know I was arguing with one of them over the weekend. DeChance was his Twitter at DECHANCE. That dude, if you go through my mentions, is a guy who's rooting against the Mets. He's a Mets fan, and he's rooting against the Mets for the sake of a Twitter argument. Those are the people that I like to hunt out. I want to find the people. I want to weed them out. The guys who are deep down in places they don't talk about, rooting against the team so that they can be right in their group texts and on their Twitter mentions because they said this team's not going to make it. Fuck those people. Those are the worst fans out there. I wanted to do best fan of the week. I haven't found anybody. Have you guys found anybody who stands out as a good fan? All I've seen is nothing but assholes. Has there been anybody out there like, I think her name was Sophie or whoever who sent the pizza to Winker? Has there been anybody out there who's been a good fan over the last week? Because
we gave it to Meek Phil last week. Meek Phil got it for fighting Frank. So Meek Phil got it for fighting Frank, but
yes.
Over the weekend,
honorable man.
I'll hold the honor.
Yeah.
I'll hold the honor just for that.
Who's the lady that you always send us, Clem? That's like Aunt whoever, who's like pulling out the astrology signs and like
Aunt Mary. Aunt Mary's on point.
Yeah.
Yo, that was let's read.
The Rangers were wearing red. It's not a good sign.
Yes. So she said she's big into astrology, Aunt Mary. I think she's like somewhere in her 50s, 60s, 70s, and she always gives them stuff based on their zodiac signs.
This is it right here. Aunt Mary could be the fan of the week. Birthday scouting report with Aunt Mary. This is on July 2nd. Williams is a Taurus, which means if the Rangers wear red in their uniforms, it could be really bad and scare Williams. Perez doesn't have a good pitching birthday, and I think we can easily score a bunch of runs on him. Let's get a win. Let's go Mets. And she also had, oh no, Rangers have red in their uniforms. This might make Williams do bad. I don't know if that's what makes Williams do bad. I think I know what makes Williams do bad, but whatever. Either way, Aunt Mary is the fan of the week.
She's like 6-1 if you just like tail her picks. And the Mets did score a couple of runs to start that game off, and then Williams and then I have people in mentions being like, well, the reason Williams is getting hit, Clem, is because he sucks and he's on 3 days rest. And I'm like, no, sir, it's because the Texas Rangers are wearing red in their jersey. Aunt Mary told me so. Aunt Mary also said that David Peterson was going to come out strong and firing hard for his upcoming son. Guy went out, shoved. David Peterson, most underappreciated Met of the 2022 season so far, by far.
Absolutely.
And
that was actually, I like genuinely on a human level didn't like what we did to that guy. Like making him pitch that game. I don't care if he said like, I'm good to go. I don't care if his wife said like, go do it, honey. That's fucking insane. To take the mound when you're thinking like right this moment, my wife might be going into labor. And I know, like labor sometimes can take fucking 24 hours. Like, you can go pitch a whole ball game in between labor sometimes, but you shouldn't have to. That was fucking crazy what we made that guy do.
Also knowing that Lugo missed the birth of his kid.
Right.
you're kind of playing with fire there. Like, what if you
Seriously.
get like there's an accident on the road when you're driving home? Like, are you gonna miss it too?
Seriously, 2022 Mets, where we make you miss the birth of your son for random games in June.
And we still have McNeil on the way.
Everybody needs to fuck responsibly next year.
Yeah.
Christ almighty.
If Roman wants to get on the podcast and sponsor, we'll have the please fuck responsibly using your Roman swipes. So did Peterson, did she have the kid? Because it's like been a month now.
We don't know. I think they said Friday night she was already a week overdue, but he flew
That's the
out
other
to
thing.
Colorado
You know what's
Saturday.
crazy? I'll tell you a story, man. Both of my kids, I don't know if it's just the doctor that we found, whatever. She was like, do you want to induce? Okay, like pick the day. Like my ex-wife, she was like 1 day past her due date. And she was like, all right, let's just pick a day on the calendar and we'll like make it happen. And I'm like, how come these like millionaires can't get this shit done? I was like, can we do the 12th at 8:30 in the morning? Thank you very much. Perfect. Sounds good. Like, come on, guys, let's go. Let's get this shit done.
It's like a manager with a quick hook. The guy's like, all right, we're ready to go. Like,
let's get this baby out of there. Like Grady Little, she is not.
Yeah. Buck Showalter, when he took out, who did he take out after they gave up the big foul ball? He's like,
Peterson.
You're gone. Peterson. And
the best hook of all time. Nope, not doing that. You're gone. The way he scurried up the steps too, he like ran out to the mound. You get out of here, bro.
Yeah, and anybody here who's a father and has had kids, we both have two, Kevin and I. You know that last month of pregnancy is the absolute worst. Your wife cannot sleep. She's like, why did you do this to me? You're the one who put these babies in me. I cannot sleep.
Bro,
so our guy David,
due date, life past the due date is inhumane. It's torture. It's like how we have not evolved past that. What that does to a woman and then her partner is like, it's unlike any other force of evil in this world. Life past the due date where every second is like, just get out of me, just get out of me, just get out of me, just get out of me.
I cannot wait to shove this bowling ball out the size of a coin slot. That's like the light at the end of the tunnel.
You're happy to do that. You're itching to do it. That's how fucking sick it is.
Our guy Peterson coming out and being able to, come in for the team on the horse. It's like the Domino's meme where it's like man eats bat in China. And then like 2 years later, David Peterson's pitching with like probably like 2 hours of sleep and just like pure exhaustion from top to bottom. Absolutely went out. But he had some help. And how did he have some help? Let me tell you, he had some help. There's one thing that happened that night, and it sure as shit hasn't stopped. Escobar season has returned. We are now learning. Listen, it's free agents. They're coming to New York. They're feeling out being a Met for the first time. Eduardo Escobar is learning about the city. Same with us as fans. We have to learn about the players when they come here. And we were already sold a false bill of goods for our catcher, James Mccann, by White Sox fans.
Yeah, I guess it's 4th of July. Maybe it would be hard for me to get him on the show, but I want to have Kangaroo Court with that motherfucker. Should we do that next week?
Yeah, we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it next week when I'm sure
White Sox team is going to come on the show and pay for his sins that he committed while talking up James Mccann as some steal of the year.
Yep. So, but I didn't go out and I didn't seek reports from Eduardo Escobar from like any fan base that he's been on throughout the years. But they said like, he's going to get hot. I think Tim Ryder, he tweeted out the stat where he's like, he batted 300 for like 3 weeks. Then he batted 100, then 300, then 100. These guys are streaky players. I remember I had Johan in fantasy baseball. First half, Johan is like a pretty average pitcher. Second half, Johan was an absolute monster. He just would go out and 8 innings, 1 earned every single fucking night. You have to just learn how these baseball players play. Some of them are consistent. Some of them are streaky. Eduardo Escobar is streaky, and that motherfucker won 2 games. Him and the pitchers won 2 games by themselves. So shout out to Eduardo Escobar.
From both sides of the plate. I love this shooting aspect too. Like he's just seeing the ball that well from both sides that he's crushing him and Marte.
Marte Parte. It's been a Marte Parte a couple days in a row, baby. I'll Marte Parte all summer long.
Shout out to that umpire on Friday night for not walking Escobar on 5 balls that weren't even close to the strike zone.
Yo,
won us the game.
Escobar is a guy who, I would rather him be like a streaky one where all of a sudden he can win you a ball game like that. I said we got to add. He gets 2 more WAR. That's how it works from now on. You want 2 games? 2 more WAR on your fucking record right there. Because as far as I'm concerned, those could have been shutout losses without him. So when all of a sudden you get 2 W's when everyone else can take the night off or suck or whatever. and Esco wins it for you, that erases a good chunk of some of that slump for me.
That's how the season started too. He was hitting nothing but doubles, and it was like every night there was just somebody new stepping up.
Yep.
And it's like a lot of people seem to be going into slumps right now, but at the same time, it's like the ball's heating up. I don't know how it works scientifically where the humidity comes out and the ball flies, but as soon as it leaves his bat, I'm like, Jesus Christ, he's got a ton of pure power.
He's cranking him because he's a stocky little boy, man. He's a fatso. He's got that brolicness in him, you know.
The baby rhino. That's I almost want to name like a thing called like the Roar. RAWR. It's like real actual wins above replacement. And it's like 2. He has 2 in the last 3 games.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, for real. And that's where games like, you know, when Max comes back and Jake comes back or someone goes out there and throws like a shutout, it's like, boom, another, like put it on your war, put it on your roar. You get another point for that because you won that game by your fucking self.
And Kyle's talking about humidity and, you know, everything's heating up. Manfred's probably just juicing the balls. I have a right. If anyone wants to bet it right now, we have 10 or 20 minutes before this random fucking Marlins game. That's like an 11 o'clock game. I have a thing. We got the big Yabo today. Over 31.5 home runs between 14 games. I'm telling you, I think these balls are going to be 1999 home run derby juice. Mm-hmm. I think these things are going to be flying out of the park.
There was a couple against us this week that I were like, you know, they were like fly balls that just like kept on fucking going.
Second one from Cole Calhoun on Saturday was a joke.
It was crazy. It was just like, even the announcer, you know, the fly ball. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, fuck, it's gone. Holy shit. So yeah, somebody's mixing with him again. You know, I don't know if it's Manfred just delivering these duffel bags himself or what, but balls are getting played with for sure.
It's like when Sammy Sosa had the cork bat so he could put on the show during batting practice. He's like, I just picked it out of the wrong thing. He's just got 2 buckets of balls and he just swaps them around. He's like, okay, like go score some runs. It's 4th of July.
Yeah, so I mean, and this might be the final thing that kind of gets Mets fans to chill a little bit because the offense. For all like we could say about the wins the last 2 or 3 against not a great team, but not a terrible team. The Rangers aren't terrible. Like they're perfectly
a ton of runs.
Yeah, they're perfectly average. And we faced their 2 best pitchers. Martin Perez is so fucking frustrating.
I was gonna say for a shitty team, you know, like again, not terrible, but like they're not winning the World Series anytime soon. A couple bats that you got to worry about, and a couple starters you got to worry about. I mean, that was like I don't care who they are. Going up against that dude was no fucking joke.
You know why they like lose like that many games, right? Because they play the Astros 19 times a year.
I mean, that's pencil in, 17 losses to those guys every fucking year.
And Martin Perez, who we scored 3 off of on Saturday, he actually has a complete game shutout versus the Astros this year. So
yeah, that's fucking. I mean, yeah, he is the real. I got to tell this story about. So Edwin Diaz to me. So Edwin Diaz is, in my mind, either the best closer in baseball or I get scared and I run and I hide. And so yesterday I did my patented hide in the kitchen. And what I do is I go in the kitchen and it's 1 room away from my television and I put the TV on just loud enough that I can hear Gary's voice, but I can't really hear what he's saying. I can only really hear inflections, which is also equally stupid because it's either he struck him out or it's out of here. So either way, I'm like, something happened. And I kind of run around the corner and I look and I check to see the outs. And that's all I do. I run back in because I literally, it's bad for my mental and physical health to sit there and like breathe through every pitch. So I'm hiding in the kitchen and as I'm filming myself, I have the video. I haven't even put it out yet. I hear Gary's voice. I run around my mom had called me in like the beginning of the 9th. And I said, what are you doing? It's the 9th inning. We're both watching the game. What are we going to fucking talk right now? Like, goodbye. I'll talk to you later. As I hear him like put it in the books or, he says, the save for Edwin Diaz. I'm like, fuck yes on my video and immediately get a call from my mom. And I'm like, oh, thank God. And she goes to me, wait, what? No, he just hit a home run. And it was like a really convincing voice. Like you would have thought my mom was like a stage actress. She was just like, no, what do you mean? Diaz just gave up a home run. Did you not see it? And I was like, I just heard him say, put it in the, I just heard him say, and the ball game is over. What do you mean? And then I realized like she just goes, I'm fucking with you. And I was like, and we are not that family. Like we're not like the prank family. My mom is not like funny gotcha. We are just like dead red normal people, straight shooters. And I stopped talking. I was literally speechless. And she was like, hello? Are you there? Are you there? And I was like, I told her, I was like, I'm fucking happy because we're even now for the Johan no-hitter. We're fucking even. Like, this is something I probably wouldn't talk to you for 2 weeks. Given the fight that I'm fighting on social media and the cross that I'm bearing, trying to raise up this Mets fan base and the people that I'm fighting in my own fucking fan base, I was like, I cannot believe you just did that to me. And if you didn't like crush me as a son, whatever, 8 years ago, whenever that fucking no-hitter was, I wouldn't talk to you for a fucking month right now, lady. It was one of the meanest things anybody. The fact that it came from my own mother, sickening. That like Mets on Mets crime like that, you don't fuck around with blown saves. You don't fuck around with things like that. That's the kind of stuff that's been haunting us our whole life, lady. Christ almighty.
At two Mama Clancy, I didn't even know she had that in her, to be honest with you. You said she's a straight shooter.
He's not that person at all, but I know her voice really well, and she was like, no, he just gave up a 3-run home run. And I was like, no, wait, what? No, I almost started crying just from like feelings being all mixed up. That bitch.
Go say what it is.
God.
There's two things you don't fuck with. You don't fuck with fake injuries, and you don't fuck with fake blown saves.
That facts. No injuries, no blown saves. That was anything else, you want to mess with baseball, you want to have a good laugh, you want to set me up. But holy shit, I thought I lost my mind for a minute. I was like, I absolutely heard Gary say the ball game is over. What?
I'll go one step further, and you also don't even just fuck with like the unexpected, because someone like imagine if they call and be like, Luis Castillo dropped the ball. You didn't see that? Like it's like no, like that happens to us. You cannot do that.
Yeah, that's our fan base. You do that to someone else, they go, ha, yeah, right. I know we didn't blow that save. With us, it's like, anything is possible.
So actually, Kev, you brought this up, and I didn't even think about bringing this up on the pod, but I'm going to bring it up now. We're having a little bit of kangaroo court right now for one of the people on this podcast. Meek Phil, this is the rule. You cannot write in the group text the words fuck in all caps.
3 capital letters, 3 capital words, folks. Fuck.
And that's all he wrote. And I go, what the fuck's going on?
Okay.
And I'm looking it up. I'm going to Twitter, and he goes, Bassett's on the COVID list. What? Triple fucks.
It's a virus that's killed over 1 million people.
Damn it.
Meek is our insider. He's got some scoops. He always has information like 5 minutes before it hits hits Twitter. So we're always, anytime I see a tweet from him, I'm like, what is it? Who is it? What do we got? What's the info? Fuck is like, Jacob Degrom's not coming.
Yep. Yeah.
Not
Kevin's internet breaking up on purpose.
7-day IL.
Literally, you sent that, and I immediately was like, did Degrom get pushed from his rehab start? Like, what happened with his scapula? I'm thinking it's like hanging on by a thread at that point. Bassett. I'm like, that dude, yeah, he had 2 good starts the last 2, but other than that, it's like, that's a throwaway. You get an extra day off where you don't have to see him. But
in my mind, I was thinking, they're going to have a bullpen game on Friday night where we don't have any idea who's pitching. Then we have to face Martin Perez this Saturday. I'm thinking this may fuck up our whole pitching for the weekend.
No, you're not wrong, because there was a situation there where, like, if something breaks the wrong way, all of a sudden we get swept by the Rangers because of that.
Yeah, like what happens if Peterson's wife gives birth Friday night and we have Trevor Williams starting on 3 days rest?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong that it's something to be like, oh shit. But fuck is different than oh shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. AHH.
Fuck.
My fuck meters will be different from now on.
Also, like my esteemed colleague Clem said, some of us aren't sitting around watching the Braves play the Reds, okay? And I don't need the updates unless if you want to just tell me, yo, great news, like the Braves blew it, the game is over, they lost. Oh, I'm all good. He tells me they tie the game. He tells me they take the lead. He tells me that Ozuna cut it to 1. He tells me that it's tied. I don't need the running play of this out of town scoreboard on June 29th.
So I'll keep that to myself more often because I don't have just the Braves on. I have like 3 or 4 other games on with that.
You're
so,
sick.
Yeah.
You're a sick fuck.
I'm a baseball nut. I'm sorry.
I get it. It was a time. I can't imagine. How old are you again?
24.
Yeah, I can't imagine being that age in this era. Like when I was that age, I remember I would just watch 162 Mets games. I would run home from work. I would watch it on my lunch break at work. That's all you could really do, minus, a little bit of ESPN.com. being 24 with nothing to do but watch every baseball game in the world with all the streaming services and all the information and all the stats, I can't even imagine it. So I get it. That's your life. It's not mine, Clem. I'm already freaking out about the game I'm watching. I don't need to be worrying about Marcelo Ozuna in the 9th inning of the fucking Reds game.
I appreciate all the positive updates. Like when you were saying like, oh my God, Brandon Drury, and then Albert Amora Jr., which like the ultimate like
when it's done,
comes around.
Yeah. I love hearing about Albert Amora for the walk-off. I don't need to sweat out the 9th inning of the fucking Braves Reds.
I'm like old school with it too, where I like not anymore, but I used to like you open up the newspaper the next day just to check the standings and be like, oh great, they lost. Like that's all I need. I just need the result.
Opening up the newspaper. I'm so happy you said that, man. I would walk a mile from my house to the train station. I would buy the Post and the Daily News. Do you know how much those newspapers cost now?
It's like $4. It's crazy.
Like the Post and the News, it was $3.50. I was like, those used to be legitimately like. I think there was a time where I would pay a quarter.
The Post was definitely a quarter at one point.
1,000 years old, being like, I bet you if you asked kids watching this podcast, what is a quarter? They'd be like, I don't even know what a quarter is.
My son doesn't even know what a newspaper is.
Here you go, newsman. I flip you a quarter. Yeah, see, the Mets won last night. And let me find it in the papers. But that was like all I would do. I would literally like, okay, Yankees, 2 games up on the Orioles. Okay, cool. And the Mets, all right, that's it. Now it's like, let me look up the FIP and the XBAP and the this BAP for the fucking whatever.
We'll do that on trade deadline day, August 2nd. But like, don't look at any Ken Rosenthal tweets. Just take the morning paper out August 3rd and be like, okay, who went where?
Yeah, exactly. Licking it, your fingers are dirty afterwards. Disgusting.
I had a guy at the Barstool, the ballpark. It was great. We were talking about. He's like, I remember back in the day when you would get like every few days they'd throw like the On the Farm, and it's like the Norfolk Tides. It's like Jason Isringhausen, but it was like by SR ... like HSN because they couldn't fit Isringhausen in the box score. And I'm like, holy shit! Like that was a memory I don't even remember I had. And that you would just get that like once every 5 days here about Isringhausen.
It was pure.
Yeah, but now it's like I can get Francisco Alvarez signing autographs, a picture of him anytime I fucking want it. It's a different fucking world. But nonetheless, I think I bet there's a lot of Mets fans who are in the same situation. Like there's definitely different kind of texters in your chain. I don't think Pavs has said one text in our chain, but Phil will give us updates of every single thing. I think the triple fuck is reserved for the best of the best having the worst of the worst news. I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to say what. I'm not going to put it into the universe. Triple fucks, all capitals. That is bad news.
I know my meters from now on. So.
Yeah. We've calibrated appropriately.
We've calibrated the fuck meter.
I think we did that in the beginning of the season, right? When Phil was like, holy shit, did you guys hear him? Like, what? And he's like, Jacob Degrom, like, whatever. But anyway, nonetheless, we'll move on to the better news. Jacob Degrom pitched yesterday. That was awesome.
Jacob Degrom in a camo uniform with a horrendous uniform. Camouflage with red, white, and blue all over it. Absolutely gruesome. Pitching while the team, warming up while the entire team watches him, while This Land Is Your Land is playing in the background. Well, he goes out there and throws 101 miles an hour, strikes out 5 of 6 batters. That was as pure as the Sandlot fireworks scene. The fact that Max is fine and already scheduled, and that Jake went out there, and then when they asked him, they said, how the shoulder feel? It immediately was like 100%. My shoulder is 100%. I had a physical reaction where I was like, these guys are fucked. Like, these two are going to come back and shove. And all along, whether it's because of LOL Mets, whether it's because of our history, whether it's because of the uniform, the colors, the Yankees, the collapses, whatever you want, everybody forgot that we were talking about Jacob Degrom and Max Scherzer and just started talking about them being Mets. The fact that they're on the Mets means they're going to get injured. The fact that they're Mets means it's not going to work out. The fact that they're Mets means they're not going to come back. The fact that they're Mets means when they do come back, they're not going to be good. Jacob Degrom and Max Scherzer are 2 levels of talent that supersede any and all curses, any and all dark magic, any and all history. Doesn't matter what uniform they're wearing. They both got injured, happen to be at the same time. They're both going to come back and shove it up your fucking dicks. And it's coming. And you gave us a cushion to do it. You let us hold first place the entire time. The entire time both of them were out. You let us hold first place. And now they're going to come back and we're going to spread we're going to drop 2 more of those guys every 5 days. We're going to run away with this fucking thing when these guys come back. And people are out here talking about what the schedule is, who's 500 and not, how hard the balls are being hit, what their expected batting, blah, blah, blah. We're bringing back 2 Cy Youngs, and we're already in first place, motherfuckers. You guys are fucked.
Braves fans are finding it. They were making fun of us. Oh, you lost the game to the Rangers Saturday. You guys lost the fucking series to this team in April. Oh, we didn't have Harris. We didn't have Ozuna. We didn't have Acuna. We haven't had Degrom all year. Scherzer's had 8 fucking starts.
Yeah, if you haven't learned, games now count and games back then don't. And that holds true. And also, if you haven't learned, you're allowed to say as a Braves fan, oh, well, we were a different team then. But for the Mets, it doesn't matter who they've got, who they're up against. Doesn't matter if the Braves are facing teams with all of their stars injured. Doesn't matter if the Mets faced every one of these teams at their peak of their powers. All that matters is our games matter and your games don't. That's all that's just how it works as a Mets fan. And that's the cross that we bear. And then we're going to have 2 guys come into this rotation and bolster a team that's already 20 games over 500. And despite all the hate and all the doubt, we're just going to continue to butt fuck you. And we're going to do it manufacturing runs, and you're going to be mad that we're not hitting home runs, and you're going to say that there's going to be regression, and you're going to say that this can't keep happening. Name one person on the team that is playing over their head. Like one person where it's like, Dom Smith gave them 15 home runs. Like, that's going to stop. No, everybody actually kind of is like, we could get more out of you. And we continue to win anyway. So don't talk to me about regression. These guys actually have more in the tank, if you ask me. They've just begun to peak.
There's only really one person I think that was playing above his level. That's Guillorme, who dropped from 340 to 290. Yes. And that's the one guy.
And that is something I don't even tell me Guillorme, because he's still playing above his head in my mind. And he's still a guy that he doesn't have expectations. He doesn't have a legacy. He's not worried about all-star votes. He's just a ball player. He's fucking sick with the glove. Yep. He's clutch as fuck. That's the one guy listen, put it this way. Mm-hmm. If you want to single out one guy as something bad about the Mets, if it's Luis Guillorme, we are golden, bro. Because I am the card-carrying president of the Guillorme gang. He is our fucking guy.
I mean, we have our James Mccann is hitting worse than we ever could have thought. Imagine if he was doing what he was supposed to do.
Bro, I don't want to bring the mood down, but I haven't said this in the Cohen era. I think I got to do it. James Mccann, get the fuck off my team. I can't, I don't want to mess with the chemistry. I really find, not only does this team win, but I find them to be enjoyable, likable people. I don't want to unleash it on anybody, but
he's making $10 million a year. He is the Matt Flynn of baseball players, where he's a great backup, and then he gets paid a fuck ton of money and then goes somewhere else, and the backup is better than him. Because Tomas Nido's throwing people out from his knees. I'm like, well, then what's McCann really here?
Yeah, what would you say you do here, James?
I have to say with McCann, I'm at the point now too, where it's during his at-bats, just show me him framing pitches and then just put on the bottom on the ticker, grounded to double play, struck out, popped out. Just tell me how he got out. I don't need to see the at-bats anymore. Or Phil does, just show me Francisco Alvarez highlights and be this guy's going to be here by September. If not, then he'll be here next year. But by the way,
I was being happy when we just cleared his spot in the lineup. He's a fucking pitcher.
That's, it's we have the DH, but we don't because we have James McCann. It's playing at a disadvantage every fucking game. And I don't care how he frames pitches. And at this point, man, I really don't see why Alvarez is not getting the nod. I don't get it. I know the difference is that he's a catcher, really. I would hope that's the one thing holding him back, that if he was an outfielder or somewhere where we really needed it, that we could plug him in right now. I don't care that he's 20. There's people get called up at 20. And, the Braves just did it. The Red Sox did it. There are guys getting called up at 20. And if you're playing as well as he's playing, and it's a team that needs it. If you're the fucking Yankees, don't rush anything. But we are a team that could use a shot in the arm. I got it for you. It's Frank the Tank.
The real Frank the Tank.
It's El Troll.
The worst part about McCann is I try not to think about it, but we had the choice of basically any catcher last season. during free agency, and we chose him. And listen, Real Muto would have been even worse because it would be a lot more money, and we'd have to play him and Alvarez together. But it's just so fucking frustrating to have it. Like Phil is 100% right. It's a pitcher spot. We got the DH, yet there's still a pitcher spot. And then whatever DH we plug into the DH fucking sucks. So it's like we have two guys that are just letting us down every single day. And listen, I thought you were going to say this, Kevin. I'll say it since you didn't say it. Anyone who's a problem and pointing out Luis Guillorme as the problem with the Mets, I will fucking kill you. I will kill you. I'll murder you. I'll kill your ass. Don't you fucking dare.
He is our MVP in my mind. So, like, if you think there's a problem with him, this right here, this is the Guillorme gang. This is like Sons of Anarchy type shit. Mets fans Anonymous. Like, Guillorme gang, you got a problem with him, you got a problem with me. I'll fucking slit your goddamn throat.
You got to get in line behind Guillorme Sr. though, because his dad.
He's the real for him on Twitter. But like, we will legitimately I'll break your arms and leave you in a fucking pile of bones. We'll kill you and leave you dead in the street, bro.
I'll fucking take a hanger on a heater and I'll let it cook and I'll go in some Method Man on your ass here. And listen, if Guillorme doesn't get a hit again the rest of the season, he's like a zero WAR player because he's gonna stop a million runs from being scored on the other side of the diamond. So that's 100% fine. At worst, he's a zero WAR player. He's perfectly balanced as all things should be. If he doesn't get a hit, which he does get hits, he does them. He bunts. He doesn't wear batting gloves. He does everything. He makes contact. He does everything you should love in a baseball player. So
that's honestly, and there's a lot of Guillorme in a lot of these players. Like I know why it's aggravating for other fans. Like when you see Mark Canna and Luis Guillermo, and you watch like Eduardo Escobar hit a 3-run bomb, and even like Marte and these guys who are good, but they're not like all world names, and they're not $100 million guys. And I think that we've been in the modern era of baseball long enough, in like the big money era, where like trying to assemble it that way doesn't really work, and the best teams find the way to balance like their superstars with those guys. But baseball is a stupid sport where talent, in basketball, you assemble all the talent in the world. As long as you're not the Brooklyn Nets, you're going to be fucking good. Like baseball, sometimes it's better to have Mark Canna at the plate than it is to have a $250 million guy. And the Mets have pushed a lot. Billy Epler, Cohen, and the Mets have pushed a lot of the right buttons when it comes to assembling those guys. So that's why people sit around and study all these numbers. Like, oh, they're batting 300 with runners in scoring position. It's that's going to fall back. It's like, I don't think it is, because it's not like, it's like we're hitting infield singles. We're hitting against the shift. We're hitting them where they ain't. And like, that doesn't go away. What goes away is, streaking home runs.
You have a 12 pitch at bat and then they hit the single. It's like, because they're contact hitters and they know what they're supposed to. Like Jeff McNeil is a freak in the fact that he just walks up there and like evaluates the field and goes, all right, I'm just going to hit it over there. But all the other guys just like know their role in the offense. And they're like, I just got to hand it off to the next guy, and then Pete Alonso drives everybody in.
I just out of pure curiosity, I looked this up. Mets pitchers last year batted 144. James Mccann is hitting 181 this year. I'm just using batting average to prove my point because, OPS, it goes from like 520 to 355. I'm just trying to show you how close we are to pitcher. Like
everybody, just save your mental health with it and do it like in Cuba when they're showing major league games. If there's a defector, they don't let you see those players. They just cut away and then they come back to the game. Just change the channel and then come back when it's done.
yeah, that's James McCann's new name, the defector. It doesn't mean it makes sense, but it's absolutely perfect. Oh my god. Yeah, we'll have White Sox Dave on to defend his boy at some point too, for sure.
But as far as the rest of those guys who are good though, like when you and some of the pitchers too, the Bassetts of the world and shit, when you're not a Boris client and you're not a multi-$100 million guy and you are playing for extra couple million, you are playing for playing time, you're playing for a spot in the lineup, you do the right shit. You don't fuck around. You hustle hard. And when you assemble a whole team of those guys, everybody runs hard. Nobody fucks around. That's how you win baseball games, because it's a dumb sport where, Adonis Medina can get out fucking Mookie Betts and get out of the inning against the Dodgers because like sometimes that shit just happens. But if you get the guys in there who are like, I'm going to roll with this and play the right way, you're going to win a lot of ball games. And that I get why that drives other people crazy, because it would drive me nuts if another team was doing it. But we're just blessed that we get to watch for it.
And we're just talking about the free agent signings. Like Eduardo Escobar is a 2-year deal. Mark Canna, 2-year deal. The only guy we signed to a decent contract 4 years was Starling Marte, who is an all-star finalist right now. Like that's maybe been like the under the value signing under radar, like, of the offseason.
That's why I'm saying if this all works out, and especially if they make some moves at the deadline and maybe call up Alvarez at the right time, I think Billy Epler is going to get a real look for GM of the year, because if they're like a contender and they're really like a World Series possibility, we went from 0 to fucking nothing. Went from 0 to 100 with just because of the signings he made.
Yeah, and with all due respect to Billy Epler, your job as a GM is easy when you have an unlimited checkbook to use.
True, but he hasn't really used it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like those guys were all like, just go get the superstars. He used it in a smart way. I think he's going to get to complement that with some of the big names. That's why I try not to focus on anything other than this year. But if you think about what's coming down the pike with another round of free agency, another round of trades, a couple more people wanting to come to New York, next couple of years could be real fun.
I'm telling you, man, there's certain baseball players we've talked to that I think they're very interested in. Like, I think, like, fans, not just Mets fans, but baseball fans in general. Like White Sox Dave is another example where he's always like, I fucking love Steve Cohen. I wish my team owned Steve Cohen. Baseball players are like, I want to go play for a guy like Steve Cohen. Yes. I know he's going to pay. Can you imagine, like, what, like, it's like being a Cincinnati Red with that dickhead owner, and that's your boss. You're like, this guy is nickel and diming us. We suck. I'm going out 162 times a year. It's completely fucking up the back of my baseball card. It hurts my market value. Or you come to New York, you're on the big stage, you have a good team, you're going to be competitive, you have crazy people like us loving you. And it's just like there, and then obviously all the media and, and all
you're taking batting practice against pitching robots. You're living in like literal luxury. You know what I mean? Like, as years go on and Cohen little things like that, like Citi Field's going to be fucking incredible. The area around that's going to be amazing. The places you can take your family and kids and your lockers and your showers and your fucking, your uniforms. I'm sure like everything down to like the food and whatever is going to be like paradise, because you got a billionaire making sure all of it's great.
A billionaire who cares, which goes a fucking long way. There's plenty of billionaires who don't give a fuck. Our guy clearly cares. And again, the team that gets that first World Series, they're going to be that. The 86 Mets are still eating off that, right? It's like to this day, they're still eating off that shit. And it's going to be incredible. But the one guy that Billy Epler did spend money on, big time money on, pitches tomorrow. He's fucking back. Mad Max, I got the shirt on. Get him at the Barstool Sports shirt store. At this rate, like, I'll even take like 5 innings, even against the Reds, like 3 earned. I just want him coming in, being healthy. If he wants to pace the dugout, be crazy Max, throw a fucking gem, all for it. Just give me health. Same with Degrom. I didn't love the 100 miles with Degrom, I'll be honest. But if he threw 92, I'd be even more freaked out. So 100, and he says my shoulder feels fine. I'm 100% fine with. But Mad Max coming back tomorrow against the Cincinnati Reds.
Couldn't have planned it better, though. It's like he's exactly on the right time schedule. It's not like we're rushing him. It's not like he needed extra time. And it's against a shitty team right before the break, pretty much. Like, I think I can't believe I'll say it, knock on wood, like they handled a major really, really well. Loved Scherzer coming out, basically taking the blame, being like, I was the one who kind of pushed this too much and I shouldn't have done that. It's not like it was their fault. And then you come back against, you know what? It is like, that's baseball, Susan. Maybe he comes back against the Reds and they slap him around. I don't know, because again, it's a dumb sport. But the fact that he's back and I said it 1,000. I thought the season was fucking done when Max Scherzer went down and we didn't relinquish first place for a single fucking day, let alone the season's over. So, like, I can't say enough about the rest of the guys who like kept it all together. The Petersons and Williams and, Bassett's and all those guys who stepped up.
Do you guys see the story about what he did for the minor leaguers, though?
The people getting mad about that. I tweeted a joke.
Who's mad about that?
Oh, there was, if you look in the comments, everybody was like $7,000 is like $10 to him. Like, that's not, like, he should have done more. Why are we
oh, fuck off.
Oh, I mean, if you guys didn't see that coming, that always happens.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos donated $100 million and people complained that it wasn't enough money. $100 million. If you don't know the story, Scherzer was down in the Rumble Ponies, and he or no, it was at Syracuse. Either way, he's down.
No, it was Rumble Ponies. You got it.
And he bought them steak dinners, and everybody got AirPods. He spent like $7,000 on the whole lineup, and that's what guys do when you go down to the minors to take care of the whole team. And he said they were all eating right and they all got their headphones, but the amount of backlash, I quote tweeted it saying, I was like, he gave him the food and the headphones, and I heard he brought a catcher back with him. Like, is there any truth to that? Just joking around about Alvarez. And all of my mentions, all of the replies had nothing to do. I thought it was going to be all about Alvarez and just, Max coming back. Everything was like, why are we giving this guy so much praise? That's not a lot of money. He's making $200 million, blah, blah, blah. It's like, fuck. There's only so much you can spend on food. Like, you can't spend $100,000 on food. You can't buy everyone cars and houses. Like, these are, it's nice things that you can do within the reason, within like reality. Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
They want a buffet of like Big Macs or something, like the Clemson football team.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you can't do anything anymore without there being some sort of pushback. But I'm sure all those guys loved it, and that's all that matters. So fuck off.
And not only that, like
those Degrom got them Chick-fil-A, and they were over the moon for that. This year they're getting lobster tails and steaks. It's like, come on.
Yeah, think about that. So they get Jacob Degrom next too. So for a couple weeks, that team is. And you don't realize, man, like life on the road as a minor leaguer, a night of steak and lobster is forget about the money. It's priceless. Like, even just, a nice little luxury like AirPods when you're, going game check to game check playing for the fucking Rumble Ponies. Yeah. It's much, much appreciated. So fuck everybody else. He's supposed to come in with like a duffel bag of cash and just give everyone $1 million? Like, come on.
And those kids got to spend time with a future Hall of Famer for a few days. Like, that's invaluable. You don't know what they could have learned from that.
We are quickly, like, we are just as much a like pro Mets podcast as we are anti social media, because I feel like the thing we should learn most from this podcast is just how much people online suck. Like, it's always something. It truly is.
And I hate to like belabor that, but it is, that's kind of always been the Barstool way. We're not going to sit here and break down every single stat about the actual game. We're talking about the fans of the game and how the fan base reacts and the things that are going on off the field. And, that's social media is the new WFAN callers, the irrational assholes. And I'm going to take it upon myself to, call every one of those out. I want to take it upon myself to, like, the step that needs to be taken is, like, we as a fan base have to become better if the team is going to, like, it's weird to think, but fans actually do affect the franchise now. And if you have a good fan base that's supportive and not known to be toxic on social media and to be a good fan base, and we're passionate, but it's only like when you're performing well for us. It's the most one-way, shitty sort of relationship for a player to a fan. And if we can like break through that, like Cohen is going to change the fan base, the franchise on the field. If we can change it off the field and become like the fan base we should be, it will be better for everybody. And so, I mean, I'm sure there are people who listen who don't even know what goes on social media and don't even care about these assholes. But if we can weed them out or embarrass them enough or change a few of them, I think it's actually better. Like, will literally lead to more wins because the player and the players will be happier, and you won't have, Lindor and guys booing the fans and thumbs down and shit like that. So I don't want to give any airtime to those assholes, but I do think that there's work that needs to be done, and I'm like going to make it my lasting legacy on the fucking internet that I at least died trying to change the Mets fan base.
No, that's a fair point, because I was going to even bring that point up. Like, I think when it comes to baseball players, when it comes to free agents, or like if you want to get a trade somewhere, whatever it may be, you probably do, like, I go on Amazon reviews before I buy something, right?
Sure.
And I look at the reviews and see what people say. And I'd be like, or I'd talk to someone, which is even better. It's like, hey man, you got that like fucking arrow bet. How's that arrow bet? I need a new arrow bet. If I'm going to go somewhere, I'm going to work, I'm going to talk to my buddy, right? And it's like, hey Javi, how was Queens? Oh, I was booing the fans because they were like, just be better.
It matters.
Just be better, and like have faith that the team's going to be good. Like, if you can't think the team's going to be good and believe it, then, I mean, if you want to be a negative person, be a negative person, fandom, life, whatever the fuck it may be, but try to have some faith. Try to just not be a dick. That's good life advice in general.
Especially with this team right here. I had someone say, look at this, we scored 2 runs and we immediately gave it right back the next inning, and now we're losing 4-2. And I'm supposed to have faith in this team? Like, yes, motherfucker. It's a 2-run deficit from a team that's come back from 7 runs down multiple times. If there's ever a team that you should give a little bit of slack and have a little bit of faith that they're going to bounce back after a bad inning or a bad loss, they have the best record in baseball as far as I'm concerned of games after losses. They're like 22-5 15 or something. I think the Yankees have a better winning percentage, but the Mets have played more games after losses. They always bounce back after a bad inning. They always bounce back after a bad loss. So have some fucking faith, because the next guy who comes here is going to sign when, it's going to be an easier time to sign these big-time stars when it's like, yeah, the fans are awesome. Don't be a dickhead. It's
like, because at that point, you don't want to do is he going to take Uncle Stevie's money, but he has to deal with those toxic fans. It's just going to make your life better. Just it's easy. And like, trust me, it's not like we're asking you to root for a fucking 70-win team. Do you know how many, like Chris Castellani is like, I love this Mets team so much. Right. It makes watching the Tigers a little better when I could just like turn on the Mets. Tigers fans, Pirates fans, all these like 90% of baseball fans are like, stop being privileged dickheads and enjoy your good team here.
Yeah, how do we become that? We had 35 years of futility, but now all of a sudden a 3-game losing streak. We can't handle that anymore. Where did your toughness go? Where did your thick skin go? Like we were born in this. We were molded in the darkness, and now we can't handle one 3-game losing streak. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I want to give our guy Chris Castellani a shout out because
he's the fan of the week. He's the fan of the week.
He's the fan of the week. They had the Peacock game yesterday. There was no play-by-play. It was just the sounds of the game. Because they were like, oh, Royals, Tigers. No one's going to be fucking watching this. Chris Castellani took it upon himself to give us play-by-play on Twitter for a Royals Tigers game.
8 innings, right?
Full game.
Yeah, full game. Like, and he just sat there. He had all the info. He had all the I mean, that is like very impressive, like broadcasting wise to do that, but also fan wise to just give up like your whole afternoon and do that for just a couple hundred people. But like the fans who heard that probably loved the shit out of that. By the way, did Peacock ever did they flat out say like we just were experimenting?
Leading up into the week, they said it was experimenting. I think Reegs wrote a blog on it. I was like, oh, this should be interesting. And then I actually watched it. I'm like, oh, this is
They're fucking trash. The fact that you have to sign up to watch that. They were holding Notre Dame fans hostage last season. I remember Twitter exploded. It was like, we're not allowed to watch this game unless we get Peacock. And then their downloads went from like nothing to through the roof. And then everybody canceled it as soon as they found out they didn't have to watch it anymore. You can't do that. You can't
I will say though,
with no sound
if you gave me the choice of an Apple play-by-play or no sound, I'll take the no sound.
Easily, no doubt about it.
And speaking of all of this, the We Gotta Believe team is working on something in the very, very near future to do some complimentary broadcasts of our own, not taking away from any of our great broadcasters, but something that can, you can enjoy the game plus us at the same time. And I think what I expect to be, I'm always trying with podcasting and video and everything to always be on the very cutting edge of what's next. I think what we're going to do with Gotta Believe coming up is going to be the next revolutionary thing for sports podcasting and sports coverage on the internet. So be on the lookout for that. It's coming very soon.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait we'll see how it all goes, but I think definitely the future of the world is, again, we have the traditional broadcasters, which, I mean, we are spoiled rotten with our broadcasters, but I think people now, these new streaming services are trying these new broadcasters. I think going with people that have never broadcasted a day in their life to just handle the whole broadcast, I think we're learning bad idea. We're going to put that in the bad idea column there, right? But I do think there is something to be said about content creators and just people who speak and talk like fans. People want to hear that, especially in this new world we're living in, where that's the reason Twitch explodes the way it does, and YouTube and all these kind of things. And I do think kind of a complimentary broadcast. So something coming in the very near future coming up. Speaking of very near future, we'll wrap up previewing the series here with the Reds. I'm just looking at the Reds lineup. Like when Hunter Strickland was their closer yesterday, and we had to rely on Hunter Strickland to close out the game, which I guess he didn't close the game, but he didn't burn the house down. He just, gave them an opportunity for a walk-off by Alberto Mora Jr. But when I'm talking about Hunter Strickland and Alberto Mora Jr. playing roles in your daily team, that Mets fans, watch the Reds this week.
Yeah.
If you continue being negative about the Mets, God bless.
This is a series, and starting with yesterday's game and this series, I've been very I don't even want to say I haven't been tolerant of the Mets or giving them a lot of slack because they haven't been doing anything wrong, but I've been defending them even when they've been playing poorly and shit. This is a series that needs to just be bingo, bango, bongo, 3 wins, see you fucking later. And you can't count on sweeps because, again, for the 5 millionth time, baseball's stupid. So it's minimum 2 out of 3. But this really should be a series that is we can look right past this one on the schedule because they're that bad. And if you're going to be a World Series contender, the Reds right now need to just be an all-star break. This is 3 days off as far as I'm concerned. Like, they have to just absolutely handle their business and be at least on a 4-game win streak heading out of that series.
That's what I tweeted out after Saturday. People gave me shit for. Like I said, there's no reason why they can't win the next 4 in a row. Yep. They already won yesterday. Yep. These games in Cincinnati, there's no excuse. You have to come away with a sweep because the Braves have already played.
Is throwing 103. So tonight's going to be like at least something exciting to watch because that dude can throw. Yeah. But he's just not a pitcher yet.
Now the Braves have already played the Reds. Their season series versus them is wrapped up. They went 4-3 versus them. It's up to us to go at bare minimum 5-1.
Wow. See, that's where you can make up ground and like add on a couple extra games where people just don't count Braves losses early on. It's like
because it was opening day. They didn't have Acuna, Michael Harris. Just forget about that.
And whenever you want, this is Kev. You were saying it earlier about how games don't count with the Mets. It's whenever the Mets have basically checkmated you in every single position. You go, oh, you're gonna Mets it in September, so you're gonna blow it because a team blew it 15 fucking years ago without a bullpen or guys got hurt in 2008. So that's their last fucking button. They're in breaking case of emergency, but you got to handle your business against the fucking Reds. Like Kyle was saying, Hunter Green apparently throws like 103, so that'll be fun tonight. We got Scherzer return tomorrow. Taiwan pitching tonight as well, who's been fucking good getting strikeouts and shit like that. The offense should be able to hit the ball out of the park. And since, I'm Escobar, I'm hammering home runs every single night on the Barstool.
But speaking of hitting the ball at the park, this is a historic site. This is the site of Dom Smith's last home run in the major leagues.
Oh wow.
So
maybe you never know.
We may have to do a thing like the last time Dom Smith hit a home run, like the price of gasoline was $1.35, and a loaf of bread was 35 cents. Like we're getting to the point with Dom. Like again, Javi Baez was a Chicago Cub. There's a lot of things that have changed since Dom hit his last home run. I root for him every game. He doesn't even really come close, which is kind of concerning. We have Scherzer tomorrow. I don't want to look ahead too much. I saw Scherzer tomorrow, and then he goes Sunday against Alcantara with the Marlins. But that would mean he's also not pitching the Braves series. Would you rather have – okay, Phil, you tell me.
I would say my bad. There's two scenarios. Either they give Scherzer the extra day of rest and he pitches versus Max Fried that Monday, or he pitches versus Alcantara on Sunday. I'd rather have him pitch versus the Braves.
Me too.
Either way, though. Either way, you're getting a big-time Scherzer matchup.
Yeah. I'm happy. It's not like, hey, Max – good work down in Hartford, feeding all the Rumble ponies, which is a crazy sentence in itself. And now you have to go face the Braves or the Cy Young Award winner. It's like, hey Max, go face Albert Amoria Jr. 3 times, and then you can go face a heavyweight fight. So that's good. We don't have a probable for July 6th.
Yeah, Wednesday it could either be David Peterson straight off paternity leave. Maybe it could be Chris Bassett if he tests negative. Or it could just be Trevor Williams again. I have no idea.
And listen,
Trevor Williams in that ballpark? No, thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It's TBA. Maybe we get a rain out.
I have to say, like, for all the shit that we've just said about like Mets fans losing their mind, Phil just like listing off like Peterson if his wife has given birth, Bassett if he tests negative from COVID. We have our 2 best pitchers who still haven't pitched in like at least a month, if not longer. It's been a fucking like crazy season, but somehow, some way. We've only had like a Sapaki day once. We've never had like, I don't know how it's like the schedule has just worked out our way where it's like Peterson and Williams have been the depth of our rotation. We haven't had anyone else that has had to come up that I've never heard of in my entire life. So I think that's kind of like a little bit of a win for us.
And when those guys do come back, those other guys are headed into the bullpen. So we're going to be bolstering our bullpen in that way as well.
Yep, that's true.
They're 9-3 when Peterson starts too. It's like he's been like, that's been a season changer for me, like just 1 year to the next.
Okay, so we're gonna we'll wrap it up with this. So Hunter Green tonight for the Reds. Nick Lodolo. Kevin, did you know that was a player? Because I didn't. How about this guy, Kevin? How about this guy? Graham Ashcraft.
That's a made up name. That's a fake name. That's a fake name.
I made that up. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
The real picture on the real picture on Wednesday is actually Graham Ashcraft. I didn't make that up. I can't make that up. I don't bring that up. So that's what we're dealing with. If the Mets do not beat the living shit out of this, I might cancel the season if they don't sweep. But like, you gotta beat the shit out of this team. I mean, Votto. I know he's not like crazy.
That's their one hitter. That's and Brandon Drury.
And India, right? India's
been awful this year.
Has he been bad? I was going to say,
Yeah.
I feel like he might have been bad this year. Drury has been, a godsend for them. But if like Almora Jr. is there and Strickland is their closer, you got to this is the time where we've said, based on the bad teams, like John Gray, Martin Perez, and a couple guys who can hit, the Rangers aren't a bad team. This is a bad team. This is a team that is so bad, there's a fan who said he is going to shit in the Toyota Tundra. If there is a God, this will be the series that it happens. Bartolo hit a home run in San Diego. We get to see the fan shit in the that is something that us as Mets fans, I'm honestly mad we never thought of, was shitting in a sponsored thing just to let the Wilpons know how much we hated them. If any Reds fans are listening, this is the weekend. We will cover it. You'll be the fan of the week on the Gotta Believe podcast. We need you guys to fucking go and bring the heat there. Phil, anything I got to know about this team other than like they're bad, they have one hitter, and their closers Hunter Strickland. And their best pitcher was yesterday. Shout out Luis Castillo for being the best Luis Castillo in Mets history.
Simple as this. This may be the worst pitching staff in the National League outside of the Nationals. This is a series they should easily sweep and score a bunch of runs. Anything less than that is a disappointment.
Yep, no more 4-2 wins. Escobar and, a quality start. You got to go out. You got to kick the shit out of them, hit a bunch of home runs. Like, that's the thing. If we can go out and sweep this series and hit a bunch of home runs, everyone's going to be feeling on the moon. Because even when you win, those 4-2 games take a lot out of you. Let Edwin Diaz rest up for the Marlins series. Again, most importantly, followed by the Braves series. And we go from there. So no matter what, I'm not going to say it. You don't have to do it. How I'm going to end the podcast, you don't have to do it if they lose this series to the Reds. But other than that, after the series, you got to believe.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.